Hi guys, it's Gilly Hunt here in my series on bows and knots, and I'm just going to show you how to do a Cheats wrap bow. Very easy, very simple, can't go wrong, and it creates this lovely bow. Let's just show you this beautiful flat bow, which gives you the nice loops of a bow and a nice flat knot, but in the simplest of ways. So here goes. The first thing you're going to do, let's just rearrange my things because you don't need to see all my glue and all my bits until we bring them in. So let's just put this over to one side, and then you can see the sample all the time I'm working. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to take whatever piece of paper or card that we want to put the bow onto, and this is how we do it. We first of all wrap a piece of ribbon around, and I've just done this because it's so obvious. You take it from one side, you stick it down with either a piece of tear tape or wet glue or a piece of seal, doesn't matter, and you take it all the way round, and you take it to the other side and you stick it down. Same again, so it's just stuck both sides. There it is. Okay. Now sometimes I like to put a tiny little bit of sticky underneath where I'm going to put the bow. So when I was wrapping it round, I also put a little dab of glue under there. Now this is why I don't put glue anywhere else, because actually you can see almost like a little stain where the glue has been. But that's fine because the bow is going to go across the top of that. And all it does is it just makes this a little tighter so that it's not too loose and floppy across the page. So that's up to you, but I would do it always where the bow is going to go. The next thing we're going to do is take a piece of ribbon, the same ribbon, and we're going to just fold in half. So once it's folded in half, we need it to be the length of the bow plus approximately ½ centimetre, because we're going to have a ½ centimetre overlap. So we need the length of the bow, the length of the bow plus ½ centimetre overlap. That's how you decide how long to cut that. Okay, and then we're going to put a piece of tear tape or wet glue on the end of it, and we are going to simply bring the end around, making sure it's nice and flat all the way around, and we're going to press the two ends together to make a nice little circle. Okay, and this is where if I'm doing this at home, I'd be very careful not to have little bits sticking out because you want it to be nice and neat. But I'm just doing this quickly just as a sample to show you, so I'm not going to spend ages just trimming those little edges. Now we've got a lovely circle now, but we need to just keep an eye on where the joint is, where the two ends were joined, because this is going to be the bottom of the bow, because we want that join hidden away. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a little drop of glue on the inside of the circle. Now I want to see if I can do this so you can see it. Let me bring it up. So a little drop of glue on the inside, don't need too much, where the join is, and then we are going to very gently, making it sure that we've got it nicely half and half. If we've got it right on the join, it will be halfway, but you can always just check by looking at the side of the bow so that you've got the same loop there and the same loop there, and then hold it down with your fingers until that dries. Okay, and that just, maybe you need to hold it for a couple of minutes. If you're making a whole series of these, which I sometimes do at Christmas, I get those little tiny weeny baby pegs, you know, the little tiny embellishment pegs. I use those and I just peg them and then just leave them on the side until they're nice and dry. So that's almost stuck. There we go. And because I was talking to you, I've slightly moved it, but never mind, there we go. Okay, then we're going to take another little tiny piece, and this time it's going to be enough to go over the top of the ribbon. So it's got to cover the width of the ribbon and have enough to fold over at the back. Okay, just enough to fold the two sides at the back. So about that long. And you're going to stick a piece of tear tape along the back of that. And again, you could do this with wet glue if you wanted to. I like to do it with tear tape because it's neat and it doesn't stain. Because as I say, sometimes with ribbon, you'll get a tiny bit of staining from the glue. And we're now going to keep the joined pieces on the bottom. And we are going to put the central piece across like that. And then we're going to wrap it round the back. And wrap it round the back. And if you're just a tiny bit too long, which I think this might just be, you need to just trim it off, because what you don't want is it sticking out. You want to lose the ends all round the back there. Okay, so there you go. All I've done is I have done that joined circle. Then I've done the little wrap around the middle. And now all I need to do is to stick this with a couple of little tipple taps, and remembering to make sure I've got the back, because there is definitely the back where all the joints are, and we don't want that to show. We want a nice smart ribbon at the front. And there you go. Depending whether you want it to be straight, you can put it straight, or you can just put it at a slight angle. I quite like a tiny angle, not too much, but just as if it had been tied. So there's one that's at a tiny angle. I'm just holding it until the glue sticks. And here's one that's been kept really nice and flat. There you go. And as long as you've made sure it's lined up across the middle, that will look as if it has actually been tied together. There we go. That for me is a nice simple way to do a wrap bow. Thanks very much. Come back for another idea soon. Bye bye.